Hey guys, it's Jess. It's Sunday the 16th of May and I had plans to film like a repotting video showing you guys some new plant related mail that I got. I got some new trellises and then I went out to film it, but it got super noisy and so I was still really keen to film a video today, and so I decided to pivot and I thought I'd show you my greenhouses because I don't think I've showed you my greenhouses. And depending on how I go for the rest of the day, depending on the weather, because it looks like it's going to rain, and if the noise outside decreases I might film some more. But guys, I thought I'd show you my greenhouse setup for my rarer plants. So the first one I have is this IKEA greenhouse that I got a while back. I actually got last year, and so gotta be careful of this. I got him to sort of help protect my delicate plants last year. Now I've also had to expand it to this fish tank to increase humidity, but I thought I might just quickly show everyone the plants that I have in this greenhouse. It's a teeny bit warmer in here, but it's not that much warmer. But let me show you guys. So first I've got my Geopanthes or the Sunseeker plant here. Now I popped him in here because this guy is apparently low maintenance. He is a tropical plant, needs a bit of warmth. I had him outside and his leaves started to crisp up. So I thought I'd bring in him, which has definitely helped in stopping and slowing down the crispiness, but I'm still trying to figure out what's the best way to take care of him. The next plant I have here is my Royal Queen cutting, and I popped her in some sphagnum last week because her roots were quite substantial. And let me just show you, that's her line there, kind of chilling. So hopefully she's popped out this new baby leaf during her time in here, so hopefully that's a sign that she's doing quite well. I've got to say, I think this, actually, come to think of it, it's not very hot in here, but I've got to think about how do I make it hotter in here. The next one I got, guys, you might have seen in my latest live unboxing that I have up. This is my Metcola petiola or jewel orchid. He's kind of chilling in here in some sphagnum. I'm actually going to pot him up in this lovely new pot that I recently got. So he'll look so fine and dandy in here. The trouble, of course, is just where to put him because I haven't got enough space already. Now, the next one here is another dark plant of mine. This is my Black Knight, and guys, I feel like this guy's holding on by a thread sometimes. He's definitely got some new growth coming out, which is a good sign, and that's because I popped him in here because it's a lot warmer, and I feel he likes a little bit of that new warmth. But this is a cutting that I got, I reckon 8 months ago. It's got a bit of root rot. You'll keep him in some pumice perlite water mix, hoping his roots grow. But he's a slow rooter, and that's what I've heard about Black Knights. But if you have any tips about caring for your Dark Knight, let me know. The next I have is this Crystallium. I think it's a hybrid. It's a little bit mangled. It's my bad because this is the result of some soap and water mix, some spray, because he had some spider mites and I was terrified of losing him, so I really was quite generous with the spraying. So he's got some, I think these are like chemical burns, which is not a good thing for your plant, but it's just something I was kind of really desperate to make sure I saved the whole plant, because this guy, he was pretty, pricey for a plant. He was about, I got him for $125 for a plant this size, and it's not a small sum. So you just want to make sure you are taking care of your plants. And speaking of taking care of, I've got to figure out what to do here. I might just cut off that bit here. This, I reckon, is a combination of not enough water, so he's just dried out there. The next plant I have is my Andreum Zippilanium. He's got this new growth. Look at him. It's so exciting. He's got so much. Look, he's got new growth coming out there. Ever since I popped him in a warm environment in here, he's grown a lot quicker. I was keeping him outside, and he just didn't look very happy. I think he started to droop in these leaves. So I popped him in here, and he's got some new growth. The only thing I have to be mindful of is, like, I don't think I have the best conditions for him yet. So his leaf is a little bit translucent, and he's got some yellow tips. So I've just got to keep an eye on him. But this is, guys, my first greenhouse. I'm gonna close the lid here. And the next greenhouse, guys, is this plastic aquarium tank. I've got a sticky tape over the hole there because when you're trying to keep warmth in, you're gonna want to make sure the heat has limited areas to escape, which is why I've also got some tape down here. It's got some little holes here, but I thought I'd just still keep them in because you still want some air, and also they're good hooks to help me open this. But guys, in here, this is a tank. This tank is a lot more warmer. It's a lot more humid. Sometimes it's too humid, so I've got to be careful about that. Particularly some of the plants in here. Actually, I might start off with this is my Anthurium veitchii. Oopsies. This, guys, is a sign that it's just too humid. It's too humid for you. So, and it's wet too much. So, I don't know if you noticed before, but this was touching the side of the tank where it had a lot of water and condensation. So this, I just moved him away because I noticed that there's a bit of browning there. That's one thing I noticed with veitchii, as they do like a high humidity, but there's a limit to how much high humidity they can take. This is where there's too much high humidity. So veitchii, he's a tiny baby one. He's, it's going to be years before he gets like one of those, has that amazing foliage like some of the specimens you see. But he's like, I'm quite happy to have a veitchii. I never thought I'd actually get one. This specimen, he's a tiny baby. He's this was $60, but I know recently I've seen on the seen on eBay and the Facebook marketplace that they've gone for quite a hefty sum. But I guess I'm pleased to have one, even though he's such a baby. This is my Raphidora something, my RC that I recently got, and actually I think he quite likes it in here because, guys, if you can see, it's got some new growth. That has happened over the past 3 days, so I think he's enjoying it in here. I do want to put this guy up in a terrarium I've yet to buy, so when I do get a terrarium, he's going to go in there. It's got some cute little leaves. This next guy, this is my fighter. This is my variegated monstera stranlana, and I feel bad for him because he's gone through a lot. He's gone through spider mites, he's gone through underwatering, overwatering. He's just recovering from being underwatered, but he is an extremely tolerant plant, guys. I know, this leaf doesn't look like it's going to make it. Perhaps I should cut him off. He has got some new growth. He's been through a lot, and if you're looking for a rare plant, I think the variegated monstera stranlana is a very good plant to start with because he's extremely tolerant of negligent behavior. This is a tetrasperma that I recently moved in. He's a cutting that I had outside. Once I popped him in soil, he had a big yellow leaf. His biggest leaf was about that big. It started to yellow. I kept him outside, so I brought him in here. I just wonder if he's going to make it. He's yellowing a bit. He's not a very happy baby, but he's got an incredible root structure, So I thought I'd keep it in here where it's a bit warmer and just sort of see how it goes. This is my Lucida Discolor dual orchid. Oh, that's dry. Alright guys, gotta take him out for some water. If you guys noticed last year, I let him dry out completely, which was pretty bad. So a sign of when your Lucida dries out is when the leaves turn pink. That sphagnum moss is just dry as, so I'm gonna water him. Another orchid here. Now this one, different species. I forget the species name, but one thing I noticed is I actually think it's too humid for him in here, because his leaves started to really close back up, if that makes sense. So when I got him, his leaves are a little bit more broad, a little bit more flat, but ever since I put him in here, I think it's too humid, so he's kind of like shot right back up. So I've got to keep an eye on him. My Monstera pinnatum, I'm still deciding what's happening with this guy. I'm still trying to figure out if he likes it in here or not. At the beginning when I put him in here, he definitely liked it, because he's given me that new leaf, but he's starting to yellow. So I wonder if that's because it's either too humid, not enough water. I've got to figure it out, because when I put him in here, I thought it had the conditions right, because he started growing a lot. So got to figure this guy out. This is my Gloriosum cutting. He's fabulous. He likes it in here because he's growing clearly, so he's got some new growth coming out. He's a cutting that's about maybe 5 months. When I got him here, he only had, I reckon, 2 leaves or so, but he does quite well in here. Unlike my Veitchii, where you see that if he gets too humid or he touches this side of the tank where there's condensation, his leaves will start rotting. Gloriosum doesn't look like it has that problem, which I thought was quite interesting, because these guys have quite velvety leaves and they've got tiny little hairs on them. So I thought that was a sure sign that they didn't like being too wet on their leaves, but no rot so far. So far so good. And the last plant, if I just shuffle you along, excuse me, is my another crystallinum. Let's check. I think his sphagnum is a bit too dry, so I'm going to give him some water. I think this guy, again, so he's been touching the tank too much, which is why his leaves are a bit mangly here. And actually I might, so I don't know why my camera's not focusing. I might actually cut that off. Doesn't look that happy. I think I'm going to give him some water. I'm going to treat his leaves, and pop him back in there. So guys, that's a quick tour of my 2 greenhouses. Everything I say in here, please take with a grain of salt, because as you can probably tell, I'm still experimenting about getting the right conditions for my plants. I'm still a novice when it comes to houseplants now. Particularly, I've sort of progressed to the more uncommon plants. So please take everything I say with a grain of salt. But I hope you guys found this kind of interesting. I don't think I've shown my greenhouses before, so I thought it would be good to show you guys. If you do have any questions, actually not questions, if you do have any suggestions on my greenhouse setup, please leave them in the comments below. The one thing I'd say that I'm limited with space. I don't really have a lot of space in the house at the moment. My greenhouses are really the only 2 areas where I can really increase the humidity. I'm hoping to maybe take over this side of the desk. But my dad gets a bit iffy with me bringing more plants inside the house. But guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. It was good to do a more casual type of video of me talking through it. I think I want to film a little bit more in in the coming weeks. So I think I'm going to challenge myself to do that, because I've been feeling a little bit unmotivated recently, and so I thought I'd give myself a little bit of a challenge to see if I can discipline myself and yeah, and have something to work towards. But guys, I hope you are well. I hope you're staying safe. Restrictions have eased in Sydney a little bit, so I hope you're seeing your friends. But guys, I will probably see you quite soon actually, now that I'm going to be filming a lot more. But I hope you guys are well, and I'll see you in my next video.